Good morning. Welcome to the Piedmont Unitarian Universalist Church. Piedmont UU sits on the traditional land of the Catawba, Kiowa, and Sugary peoples. My name is Vanessa Sampson Schneider, and I will be your worship's assistant here this morning for Reverend Dr. Amy Rio. We are a flourishing, vibrant, and radically welcoming congregation which promotes diversity, inclusion, and social justice. We provide a safe haven for creative intellectual growth, spiritual development, and a deep sense of community for all who join us. We hope our liberal religious values will challenge you to join us as a community that lives boldly and acts justly. To all our visitors and members, we're very glad you're here in person and with us online, and we hope to see you again. Your presence is such a gift to us. And now for some announcements this Sunday. We have a guest, and her name is Jessica Lefkowitz, and she is from Hearts for the Invisible. She's the Executive Director, and she will share with us right now some information about this organization. This is our Share Plate partner for the month of November. So please come on up, Jessica.
Thank you so much for welcoming me today, and thank you so much for the wonderful gifts. The gift bags that we were able to give to our unhoused neighbors was such a blessing. They're gone, by the way, so thank you for that. But just to give you a little background, she said, my name is Jessica Lefkowitz. I founded this organization at the onset of the COVID-19 pandemic. When I got laid off from work, I was actually a bartender for 27 years. I started going out into Tent City daily. When I say daily, it was Monday through Sunday. It became my church to work with folks. And I really didn't know what I was doing and how I was really going to make a huge impact at the time. But every day I was trying to do more and do better. So we'd help folks get to doctor's appointments, get to help people find jobs, just whatever I could do, like just trying to fill that gap for those folks that were living in those tents. Flash forward to May of last year, after 3 long years of just trying to get funded, because I became a 501c December of 2020, and trying to just figure out how I was going to stay in this lane so I wouldn't have to go back to bartending. I still kept going every day, and this is 3 years with no salary, guys. I made a conscious decision not to go back to work because I wanted to keep on figuring out a way to help. So in May of last year, the county put out an RFP, which is a request for funding proposal for homeless street outreach. It was supposed to be a very competitive pot of money, but they put it out. And then like 3 weeks later, I got a phone call from colleagues saying, is this because of you? The county took the RFP back and gave that money to me to build a multidisciplinary outreach team. So I have a team. My first team was it gets better, of six folks. So I have peer support, so people with lived experience on the team. I have an addiction specialist. I have a licensed clinical social worker. I have other additional social workers on the team, and they are amazing. Then something else happened in the same year. I got a phone call from the city, and they said, well, we kind of want you to do this for us too. So we're going to give you so the first pot was $650,000, and I'm not bragging, guys. I swear I'm not. I'm just putting it together. $500,000 to put together another team. Okay, so I have a licensed clinical addiction specialist, another peer support, another social worker. So my team is now 8. In our first 16 months of being funded, we have had over 500 positive exits out of our program, which is insane. We have a noted number of approximately 3,000 folks that are experiencing homelessness in our town. So this agency is putting a big dent in unsheltered homelessness, which is very, very proud of that. And I think this upcoming year is going to be even bigger because I wasn't fully staffed the whole time. I wanted the right people, so I didn't just hire anybody. So it was like staggered in the staff. And then this other blessing happened, and the county said, we like what you're doing. And they're funding me to April of 2026, and they gave me $1.4 million to do this work. Now, that is a true blessing, but there are things that I can't use the funding for, right? So these blessing bags that you guys create are things that I can't actually buy with my funding, so they do come in handy. When I need to put a family in a hotel, when I get a phone call from a mom with children who's sleeping outside and I need to put them in a hotel immediately, we have to have funding for things like that. So I know I have all the money, so that's what I'm saying. I'm not bragging. It's mostly for like operational type stuff. But I can tell you, my team is extremely diverse. There's LGBTQ on my team, African Americans and Caucasians on my team, men and women. So we are a diversified team. And that's important because you want to represent the people that you're serving. So I'm very, very humbled by putting this amazing group of human beings together to do this work. So what do we do? My staff goes out directly to where unhoused folks are and come up with a plan. The biggest piece of working with the unhoused population is building trust, that engagement process. So that can take time. So our little ends are usually like, hey, do you need help getting your ID? Do you need help getting a food stamp application or a SNAP Medicaid application? So that's usually our end because a lot of our folks have severe and persistent mental illness. So it's not always easy. It's not always like, oh yeah, they want to help me. I want the help. It takes time. People have been, have bad experiences with our current social services system, so that the trust building, it takes time. So they do that, but our main goal is to get folks housed. So I challenge you all to check out our social media. It will brighten your Sunday if you take the time. We're on all the platforms. The stories are there. You get to see the joy of the folks that we've housed. Not everybody, I haven't been able to, obviously do everybody's story, but there's enough on there for you to really get it. But another thing I'm super proud of is getting people connected to mental health supports and substance abuse supports. This is something that's coming, I'm super proud of. One of the young ladies that that we worked with, I've known her for 3 years, and she was in a DV situation, living in her car with her dog, who was at my house right now, and I'll explain why. I've had the dog for a year, but I was thinking about it. So she was in crisis, and she called me, and me and my addiction specialist went down to her, and she couldn't do it anymore. And I told her, I said, are you ready to change your life? Yes. What am I going to do with Bentley? I said, if I tell you I will take Bentley, will you go to treatment? Because she had a methamphetamine addiction. She took this opportunity. I took the dog. She is now over a year sober, and she is currently in peer support training and will be joining my team. Yeah. I'm so, that's like a proud mama moment for me. And I don't have children, so these folks that I serve every day, they are my family. And to be able to pour in and get it poured back out and to literally change someone's life in that way, like she's gonna have a livable salary to do this work and to help people who were in similar circumstances. So that is a true blessing. I thank you all again for having me here. I apologize that I am gonna have to leave, so I won't be able to congregate with you, but I will tell you this, I appreciate the warmth and I will be back. Thank you so much.
I don't meet too many women that are taller than me. So thank you so much, Jessica. We appreciate you. All right. And then chair yoga is going to start this month on Thursdays from 3 to 4 via Zoom. And we actually have Leigh that's here with us today. She's going to be the instructor for this, and she's going to come up and tell us more about this wonderful opportunity. So come on up.
Hi. Hello, good morning. Yeah, I'm glad to see everyone. I'm trying to look for the familiar place that I know of who has maybe come to my yoga class before. Yes, I saw one. It's good to see y'all. I actually came to Piedmont the first time in 2012 when Reverend Robin is here. She's the big time promoting wellness and meditation. she herself actually taught meditation. So we actually get connected at the time when I start my 200 hours of yoga certifications. And so I have to have a practicum hours, so I chose this place because it is the Christian church, however, the concept of the diversity in unity is all about yoga's teaching. So I decided this is the place I want to begin with my passion. So I have been friends with Deborah and our Reverend Amy since I reconnect with her when she came back 2 years ago, right? Yeah. So I have been taught yoga, gender yoga, or restorative yoga, or just regular yoga. I'm not getting a lot of responses partly because in the evening, late evening, it's inconvenient for people to drive, especially senior populations. And so I figured out, after this many years of try and error on and off, I thought maybe a good time for me to do chair yoga, especially now I have my own liability insurance, and I just completed senior yoga trainings with Duke University, the Well Integrative Yoga Department, 3 years ago, and it's called Yoga for Seniors, professional training for seniors. But I just completed my 800 hours of accredited yoga therapist program. So I'm actually completed the program and got my certification in October. I just have to get the actual certification from the governing body who will give me another certification from the recognized company. So anyway, so I was trained in traditional yoga, Sivananda. So our concept of yoga in terms of this chair yoga concept that I would like to bring to your group is more on how you can keep constantly the concept of balancing and harmony. To do the balancing and harmony, it is not just physical, right? So our illness starting from physical, but it comes from mental illness. Because once you are concentrated on that physical, you identify your body and mind, then you couldn't really pass beyond that. So the concept of, I like to bring this to this group for this chair yoga, is so that you all can practice the yoga with a sense of not so much on identify of all this physical body, who you are, where you are, and all this. To identify yourself that you are already perfect. What you are doing is what is you are going to do moving forward. Because the transformation of mind is what transformation of your body. Flexible body, flexible mind. Flexible mind, flexible body. So anyway, so do not let your physical body or any limitation that you think you cannot do to do this workshop. Because this workshop is for everyone. And it's just a matter of teaching you how to think positively at the same time when you're doing it. And there is a different kind of, even this is a chair yoga, the concentration will be emphasized on strength, flexibility, mind, realization. And again, it comes back to mind, everything starting from the thought, right? So we want to start to really learn how to, using the breath, to practice the awareness of the body sensation. That body sensation arises, you catch it, you immediately using the positive affirmation to change it. So you will become more aware of your present moment of your breath, not so much identified with the joint pain, the body pain, just so much on this physical, things is really what is limitation of your mind transformation. So therefore, if you can start opening up yourself, do something, change something new that will help you to create a new neuron plasticity. Again, everybody knows we can change our brain and function only because the plasticity of the neuron depending on how you think. So every 7 years, you have new neuron. If you start thinking positively, your old neuron start to dying off, your new neuron that you created start to generate. So therefore, just again, you are not who you are today. The today of you is not the same as tomorrow. Therefore, just know that you all can do the chair yoga class on Thursday from 3 to 4, and take the time and take care of your wellness, and knowing that the balance, harmony to your mind and the body is what is going to achieve you for the journey of self-realization, because it's all about you. And that's part of yoga therapy taught, that the certification that I'm getting is to how to teach you, learning how to be physical and mental free, so that you can start working on the journey of self-realization, that you empower yourself. I'm not that power. You are the power. But what I can bring to you is how you can transform your physical and mental part of your thinking for you to start to progress into your next chapter of your life. Thank you so much, and now I'll be here at the end of the workshop, so if you all need to talk to me, please feel free to come and talk to me. Thank you so much. Thank you.
So many beautiful things happening in our congregation. So fantastic. Oh, and don't forget, today after the service, there will be a potluck fellowship hosted by the Rainbow Group, and everyone is welcome. And for other important information about our vibrant community, please see your order of service, or if you're on our email list, please check out our monthly newsletter, which I think just came out 2 days ago. So check it out. And also take a look at our weekly announcements. Whatever brought you to this place at this hour, we welcome you. May you find something that you need, and may you leave richer in spirit than when you arrived.
Hear now these words from Paul Sprecher. We light this chalice to honor the memory of those who have come before us, kindling flames of wisdom in dark times, willing to challenge orthodoxy even at great personal risk, giving us a legacy of freedom and a love of truth, a legacy that warms our hearts and lights our paths. I invite you to please join me in singing the words to Lighting Our Chalice, the symbol of our faith. They are found in your bulletin. I invite you now to please rise in body or spirit for our call to worship, which is found in your bulletin. For all the saints. We are grateful, alleluia, for all the saints who died too soon, whose absence pains us still. We remember with tears, aches in our hearts, and yet we are grateful, alleluia. For all the saints who taught and mentored, teachers, older friends, and younger prophets, guiding us, inspiring us, we are grateful. Alleluia. For all the saints who watch over us, pray for us, sit with us, guide us. We are grateful. Alleluia. Our opening hymn is found in our gray hymnal, number 336, All My Memories of Love. Please be seated. And I invite any of our young ones to come forward for a time for all ages with Miss Madia.
Hello, everyone. Today I have a book titled Rain Before Rainbows, written by Smriti Prasadam Halls and illustrated by David Litchfield. And while the story doesn't focus on a specific memory or the remembrance of a specific person, it does talk about the rainbows that lie ahead of us when we are going through those dark tunnels in our lives. So, Rain Before Rainbows. Rain before rainbows, clouds before sun. Night before daybreak, the old day is done. There are mountains for climbing, journeys to take, dreams that are hopeful, decisions to make. Dark days shake us and worries creep in, with dragons to duel and battles to win. Thunder will rumble, lightning will flash, the wind will start blowing, and tall waves will crash. But there are footsteps to follow and words that are wise. There's a map that will guide us when troubles arise. There are friends who will help us, courageous and kind, a rope to hold on to, and treasure to find. Sowing and planting, roots before shoot, stem before flower, leaf before fruit. Right before rainbows, clouds before sun. Night before daybreak, a new day's begun. A day full of promise, a day full of light. The morning is breaking, and morning is bright. I want to also take this time to draw attention to some RE things that are going on. We do regularly offer elementary RE. For those of you who might be joining us at home who have elementary age children between the ages of 6 to 11, we are currently offering religious education programming for them on Sundays during service. And also I'm trying to get together a group of people to volunteer in the name of Piedmont UU Church Religious Education for a Winter Wonderland shop. There's information about that in your order of service. And if you would like further information about this volunteer opportunity, you can send me an email. Thank you.
As we know, today is Remembrance Sunday, which we observe every first Sunday of November. We take time to remember loved ones who have passed, especially in this past year. And I offer thanks to everyone who brought a memento or a picture of a loved one to share up here with our altar. Now, I hope everyone will take a few moments to look at those at some point today as well. Now, today we especially remember members and friends of the congregation who have passed in this last calendar year. And today, as we call their names, we'll ring the bell for each of these people. We ring a bell for Michael Gordon. We ring the bell for Margaret Edwards. Now, at this time, we will turn to our time for ritual and sacred sharing, where we share joys and sorrows, concerns and milestones. We light a candle for everyone who's been impacted by the devastating flooding in Spain in recent days. We light a candle for all who've been impacted by recent hurricanes, and especially for ongoing recovery efforts. For an end to the epidemic of gun violence. For the relief of the people of Gaza. For all areas of violence around the world, including Haiti, the Sudan, the Middle East, and the war in Ukraine. And this week especially, we light a candle for a peaceful democratic process in this country and for an end to political violence and rhetoric. Now, at this time, you are welcome to come forward, and you'll see we have a little bit different setup today. But if you would like to do so, I invite you to come forward along the far wall, and you can see over by the prayer stand. You may still fill out a prayer card and place it on the prayer stand if you'd like. And this is also the location where we have our stones today. And you may place a stone in our shared water. Or you may come forward and Vanessa will hand you a candle to light your own candle of joy or concern. So please come forward as you feel called to do so. We now light a few more candles for the things we hold close to our hearts this morning, and also for those who are joining us virtually to honor what is in their hearts as well. Now, at this time, I invite us to enter to a time of quiet rest, meditation, or prayer. And during this time, I invite you to simply become more settled into your seat, to relax your shoulders, and to deepen your breath. Slow your breath and breathing in and out gently. And during this time of silence, I invite you to imagine the hands of those who are no longer with us and who you love, people who have been important in your life, to imagine those hands on your shoulders, that their spirits are with you, and that through that touch on your shoulders, that they are conveying all the love they have for you and all the hope and support that they offer you.
I will say this morning that I appreciate Ann giving me the heads up before the service that I would be crying. So thank you. Appreciate that. Always beautiful playing. It's just every Sunday. And so today we have a wisdom reading. It's a poem from Rosemary Watola Trumer. What she taught me about how to meet those who grieve. And it's for Mirabai, Starr. She taught me it is enough to sit with someone who is grieving, to sit and listen with your whole body, as if eyes could hear as well as ears, as if a person's silence is as essential as her words. She taught me it is a gift to say the name of the one who is gone. Such powerful balm, that briefest of songs, the name. She taught me to light a candle and to promise to not blow it out, not even as the conversation is done. She taught me the solace of offering no wisdom, asking no questions. She gave me the gift of myself and met me there.
So, as we know, this first Sunday of November is our annual observance of members who have passed during this past year. Just a few moments ago, we rang the bell in remembrance of Michael and Margaret, and we remember how they both blessed our lives and our community in a variety of ways, and we give thanks for them. Now, this day of Remembrance Sunday is also a day we remember our own loved ones, people who are no longer with us. We remember people who have journeyed with us, cared for us, loved, and nurtured us. And some of these individuals might have been gone for decades, but we know that their spirit is still with us in some way. Now, I know that I have mentioned in the past my maternal grandfather, Papa, who was a United Methodist minister and very much like a spiritual father to me. Papa died on Halloween, so I'm always especially feel his presence during these very thin days of the year, and I am thankful for him. I think we all know, too, that we can hold a variety of emotions all at the same time. We can remember people fondly while we also grieve and feel great loss. We might even, while we're still grieving, laugh about some of the stories or things that they did. All these things together are sacred and holy. Now, we come together today in remembrance, sometimes with love, filling our hearts with grief, which can still bring us pain. And sometimes all those things together can even surprise us with how suddenly we experience them. Now, on this Remembrance Sunday, we are beginning our new monthly theme. And the monthly theme for November, with our worship and small group gatherings with Chalice circles, the theme is repair. Repair. Now, I don't know about y'all, but when I hear the word repair, I normally think about what needs to happen to my car, or perhaps my HVAC system, right? All those things that we need to repair. Now, I do think there's an issue or a challenge with the word repair, because when we think about repairing something, we think it should be like new, like brand new. But healing knows that we are never like new. Our scars are part of us and can make us stronger. Being able to grieve, to acknowledge our loss, even while we know the spirit of that loved one remains with us, it strengthens us and enables us to be better than new. Now, I asked this question at the early service, and it was only those of us staff members who could answer yes. So I'm going to see today, maybe some people at home will know this. Has anyone here watched the Disney Channel series called WandaVision? All right, we've got a few more. Thank you. I knew the Duttons would be with me, right? So thank you. Thank you. So for those of you who have not, it's actually a spinoff of all these Marvel Avenger movies, okay? And you don't even need to have watched all that to appreciate the show. But WandaVision is about a magical witch named Wanda who has lost everyone in her life that she loved. She lost her parents at a young age, her twin brother, and then her life partner. And out of this extreme grief that she feels, her magic accidentally creates this ideal world for her and her resurrected husband. And then she takes over this small community where everything is ideal world, where there's no pain or grief, and everything is perfect, like a little TV sitcom. Now her husband begins to realize what's happened and that the people of this town have no control over their lives. And so he gently talks her through her grief so that she can remove her magic from this town and free its people. And he says these very powerful words to her. What is grief if not love persevering? What is grief if not love persevering? Now, today's theme works well for this first Sunday of November here in the year 2024 as we sit on the eve of an immensely consequential presidential election. Now, health officials and different surveys have spent recent days stating what most all of us already know. The stress of this election and what's taking place in our country, it has inflicted so much on so many of us, and that we are carrying this stress in our bodies. So many people are not sleeping, are concerned, they don't know what is going to happen. And especially as we hear pervasive, violent, and divisive rhetoric, which we've heard for several years now. And I think we all know it takes time to count votes, especially in today's world, and we cannot expect calm election results in coming days or even predict what may happen. But there are things we can do. We can continue to work for justice in this world. We can deeply listen to those with whom we connect in this world. And we can grieve the things with which our society has never dealt, the things which continue to emerge as a dominant shadow over the lives of this country. American religious scholar Albert Rabbitoe, who his dissertation was Slave Religion, a black man in the early 70s, writing this important work from some very first-hand accounts. He coined the term that the original sin of this country was racism and slavery, and then later added the original sin of genocide of the indigenous people. And he and other scholars since and other religious leaders have said that we have not dealt with the original sins of this country. He says we need to remember that this is part of our history. And it impacts all of us, no matter our race or culture or background. To remember means to bring back together the disparate parts of our society which have been separated. Just as grief and love help our total selves come back together to health and wholeness after loss. This same process can help bring back together the disunited members of our society. To remember, to bring together, helps create a society that is truly one body, one diverse, strong body. In many, there is one. Now, this practice of remembrance, the individual and collective practice of remembrance, is a lifelong journey. We grieve, we seek to repair, and to heal. Now, on the collective level in our society, it certainly means for those of us who are white, we have much work to do to uncover that which is hidden to us far too often. the water of white supremacy in which we swim. We need to remember so very much that has been forgotten, whether intentionally or not. Now, healing is a journey. Some scars are always with us, even though some may heal back to new skin. Now, think about my right knee. 5 years ago next week, I had a partial knee replacement. I have a very long, very obvious scar, and I know that some of you here have the same scar I do. We have talked about it. And if you're out and about, anyone who's wearing shorts, we can always spot another partial or full knee replacement. Now, it took some time for that physical incision to heal, to get rid of the staples and the stitches. And it took even longer than that for the knee to feel like mine again, not like I was the bionic woman or something. It took some time for it to feel like it was mine so I could go on a good hike or bike ride. That right knee is healed, but it doesn't look like it used to look. That big white scar will be with me to the day I die. As a country, as a society, we need to confront, to look full on at the deep wounds that the ongoing and original sins of this country have caused, so that the process of healing might begin. I didn't like looking at that scar once the bandage came off. My daughter, who was in PT school, physical therapy school, thankfully was with me, because I get really grossed out by stuff like that. I mean, she does it, which is really good for her career. And I was like, can't you just do this for me, Ava? Just switch this bandage out. And she's like, Mom, come on, I'm going to go back to school in a couple days. You have to look at this and deal with it yourself. I did. You know, felt a little sick on my stomach, but I looked at it. And I knew that's what I had to do, and that I was going to have to be the one to keep looking at that for the weeks to come so that I could properly care for it and it would begin to heal properly. It's not an easy process. It hurts sometimes. It can be painful. But this is the spiritual journey to which we are called. The Jewish scriptures offer these words in Psalm 30. Weeping may last for the night, but a shout of joy comes in the morning. Weeping may last for the night, but a shout of joy comes in the morning. During the nighttime, we remember, we grieve, and we also prepare for the morning when the shouts of joy will come. Now we give thanks today for this time together to remember, to bring back the disparate parts of ourselves. We give thanks for all those who have meant so much in our lives as a church family and as individuals. We remember that which seeks to remain hidden in our country, and we follow the spiritual path of this great work of repair. May it be so. Blessed be. Amen.
As the choir gets ready to sing the song Wild Geese, we were reminded as we were practicing this, a song that Anne and the choir loved so much, evocative of this time of year. And we wanted to read the poem by Mary Oliver, Wild Geese. You do not have to be good. You do not have to walk on your knees for 100 miles through the desert repenting. You only have to let the soft animal of your body love what it loves. Tell me about your despair and I'll tell you mine. Meanwhile, the world goes on. Meanwhile, the sun and the clear pebbles of the rain are moving across the landscapes over the prairies and the deep trees and the mountains and the rivers. Meanwhile, the wild geese, high in the clean blue air, are heading home again. Whoever you are, no matter how lonely, the world offers itself to your imagination, calls to you like the wild geese, harsh and exciting, over and over, announcing your place in the family of things.
Many years ago, I lived in central New York state, which is a Atlantic flyway, if you're familiar with birds and migration. It's a major route for migratory birds, especially waterfowl. And I'll never forget one night in the fall, I received a phone call from my father, who lived about 5 miles away. He told me to go outside and look up and listen. I didn't say why. The experience I had when I went out that evening was memorable. As very high in the sky was the amazing sound of hundreds, perhaps thousands, of geese as they made their way south. Fall was on its way. There's a picture of my dad about that time. Over there.
Something told the wild geese it was time to go. Though the fields lay golden, something whispered slow. Leaves were green and stirring. Berries lost their glow. But beneath warm feathers, something cautioned frost. So fly, bird, fly. Winter's on the wing. Goodbye, goodbye. Come again next spring. All the sagging orchards steamed with embers once. Not begun but stiff at remembered eyes. Something told the wild geese it was time to fly.
Somewhere in their memory,
Somewhere in their memory, winter and their cry. So fly, bird, fly. Winter's on the wing. Goodbye, goodbye.
Thank you so much for that beautiful, beautiful musical reflection. Let there be an offering to sustain and strengthen this place, which is sacred to so many of us, a community of memory and of hope, for we are now the keepers of the dream. This month, as we stated before, we'll be sharing our offering plate with Hearts for the Invisible. Hearts for the Invisible's mission is to eradicate housing inequalities for people experiencing homelessness, and their vision is that everyone has equal access to dignified housing. We ask that you place your gift in the baskets as they make their way around the room, and you are always welcome to give online at puuc.org, or you can do so by texting PUUC at the number 73256. Today's offering will now be gratefully received.
We give thanks for all these generous gifts you offer from your heart, which help us live out our values here in this world. Now, I invite us now to please rise and body your spirit for our closing hymn found in our great hymnal, number 347, Gather the Spirit.
Thank
Before we extinguish our chalice, I offer thanks for all the many volunteers who help make our service possible. I also ask if you can take your hymnals back to the cart near the piano after the service. That is a wonderful help. And let us do as we do each Sunday and continue in the spirit of service and thanksgiving as we offer thanks for the things for which we are grateful today. Thankful for the choir, absolutely. Yeah.
I'm thankful for the little baby I got to hold last night. A couple who didn't think they could have two.
Oh. Yeah, Gail getting to hold a little baby last night for a couple who didn't think they would be able to have a baby, so it's wonderful. Thanks for, was that granddaughters? Yes, twin granddaughters who are cute as can be, yes. I mean, yes, for all who've gone before us. We give thanks for all these things and so much more which we hold in our hearts this morning. I invite us now to go forth with this blessing, go forth with remembrance, allowing ourselves to grieve what is past, while filled with hope for the way the Spirit opens up our futures. We now extinguish our chalice, but we carry its light, its warmth, and its meaning with us until we meet again. May we go in peace, believe in peace, create peace wherever we wander. May it be so. Now for our closing song, we make a circle. You may hold hands if you would like to, or you may simply place your hands on your heart.